What's up, sons? It's Blind Ron with I7-8700K once again, and I have some news for you guys. Essentially, we have some benchmark leaks for the Intel i7-8700K. So these are super interesting. I hope you stick around. See you in a sec. Alright, welcome back. So we have a set of 5 benchmarks here that we were able to find in the leaks. I went ahead and cross-verified all the rest of the benchmarks for the 1700, the 7800X, as well as the 7700K, and the results are interesting and should speak for themselves. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in and take a look. First, we have Cinebench R11.5 by 64, so 64-bit, by 64. Why would it be 11.5 by 64? That would make no sense. Okay. Anyway, so the 8700K comes out on top in the multi-threaded and single-threaded applications ahead of the Ryzen 7 1700. Keep in mind that all of these are at stock settings, so the 1700 is only going to be clocked at 3.7 gigahertz. In Cinebench R15 64-bit, the Ryzen 7 1700 actually still comes out on top here with a multi-threaded score of 1420. Keep in mind that if you overclock this to 4 gigahertz, it's easy to get these into the 1700 range, and this appears to be a pretty early on benchmark run of the Ryzen 7 proc here. That being said, the 8700K comes in pretty close with 1410 on the multi-threaded, but it does wipe the board once again with that 191 on the single threaded. That's getting very close, or dangerously close, to the single threaded of the 7700K, which is super promising at this point, meaning that this could be that 6-core proc that is that sweet spot for both gaming and multi-threaded applications. However, price to performance, that 1700 is going to be incredibly hard to beat. Taking a look at CPU-Z performance, we see another win for the Ryzen 7 1700, and not just a small one. And this was interesting because in the leaks they tried to compare it to the Ryzen 7 1600X. I was kind of like, no, we're not going to do that on this channel. If you're going to compare everything else to the Ryzen 7 1700, why wouldn't you do that with CPU-Z? So I went out and pulled these up for you. The single-threaded score on the Ryzen 7 1700 is still getting beat. In all of these, that's going to be true by the 8700K and the 7700K. However, that being said, the interesting note here is that we do see the 8700K pulling ahead of the 7700K in single-threaded, albeit at what is presumably a lower turbo clock of only 4.3 gigahertz. So there are some promising things here, and as the platform matures, we might see some pretty interesting results before release. Alright, so Fritz chess, we do see the 8700K once again coming out on top. Not by a little bit, but by quite a lot. It's 24,000 compared to the Ryzen 7 1700 of 20,000. And of course, this does appear to be a pretty Intel favored benchmark, as the 7800X as well beats out the 1700 here. And I find that super interesting and noteworthy just because of the nature of this benchmark. I might just throw this one out the window. And then finally we have W Prime 2.1, 32M, and lower is better here, and we see another win for the 8700K on multi-threaded, actually by quite a bit, by 2 points, which is, in this situation or scenario, is almost 10% better than the Ryzen 7 1700. However, we do see that single-threaded score has bumped a lot and is beating out the 7700K by a lot. I find this benchmark to be kind of odd on the single-threaded for the 7700K. I am going to be rerunning some of this with some access I have to the 7700K and kind of getting some more insight on that single-threaded score there. Alright, so in conclusion, out of the 5 benchmarks that we saw here, 3 of them went to the 8700K and 2 of them went to the Ryzen 7 1700. If you check out my price video for this new 8700K, you will see that it is significantly more expensive than the Ryzen 7 1700. If your focus is mainly going to be multi-threaded applications, things that favor more cores and more threads, it's a no-brainer to go purchase the Ryzen 7 1700. That being said, if you do play games, the single-threaded performance takes a win in every single leaked benchmark that we've seen here over the Ryzen 7. So there is something to be said for this being a relevant product. Once again, I'll just mention that having competition back in the market is amazing. At the end of the day, when all of this is settled and the dust settles, we can definitely look back and say,
there was a firefight!
Thanks for watching. As always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next Tuesday.